Hi guys, Ronnie here and welcome to the workshop. Today I'm going to show you my new bike, which unfortunately I didn't have the time to film when it was being built because this pre-Christmas period was quite crazy in terms of orders and work, so I just put it together quickly. But at least I'm going to talk you through the full details and all the parts that went into it. So here it is, and it's very different than what I've been riding before. So to give you a little bit of a brief, I've had 4 different winch builds in the last 2 years. I've always been kind of an aero bike rider because, well, I race at a pretty high level, so that's what I need for my racing. And the winch is an excellent bike. And I already have the successor ordered or had, which was the Tarmac SL7, or should have been. That was in June before it was even released, but I still didn't get mine for some reason. So yeah, that's why I got this bronze 2021 winch. But that was promised immediately to a customer. And it is prepared for him, ready for delivery right here. And because of that I had to get an alternative, so basically it meant choosing whatever road bike was available as Specialized in my size. And that happened to be the Specialized Aethos. And I do mean Specialized because it's not the S-Works model, as you can see. Only this one was available, or this one in white, so I chose this one. And I kind of both regret and don't regret this decision to not go for the S-Works model, because it was available 2 weeks after, but more on that later. So let's talk about what the Ethos is first. It's Specialized new climbing bike. Not designed for racing, but it is very much a race bike. The only thing that's not racy about it is it doesn't have any aero features at all. It's all classic round tubes and not a single integrated part. Well, there is one, but it's not what you would expect. So standard fork, internally routed, standard round head tube, standard headset, with a standard stem on it. This incidentally isn't Tarmac SL7 stem, which I'm going to use later on, hopefully, but it's a nice match. Anyway, standard round tubes throughout the bike, not even dropped chainstays, standard 27.2 seat post with an external clamp, standard through axles front and rear, and even a threaded bottom bracket. BSA, not some proprietary thread. So these days this is as much of a standard bike as you can have. The only non-standard part is the front brake mount, as you can see here, and you have to remove the standard flat mount that comes with the stock calipers, SRAM, Shimano or Campagnolo, although if I think about it, you can't even fit a Campagnolo front brake to this bike because that doesn't have an adapter. The brake is combined with the adapter itself, so yeah, keep that in mind. Anyway, this is the only part that's not standard but comes with the bike, of course. The reason they've done this is so the fork can be hollow further down, so the bolt goes a bit further up than it would otherwise. So yeah, this area can be made a tiny bit lighter. And light it is because even though, despite the fact this is just, well, a second tier frame, it weighs 690 grams, which is lighter than almost anything else on the market, even if you count for the top spec bikes. That's pretty damn impressive. The way I would describe it is an SL5 with an update and a big diet, I would say. SL5 on less mils, if you say. Anyway, why do I regret and not regret the S-Works version? Well, the whole bike is very similar, same stiffness, same ride characteristics, same parts. You even get the Rowell Alpinist super light seat post, which is nice. And I also weighed this bike, yeah, as I said, 690 grams in this size 52. The S-Works model should weigh around 585 for the similar color and size. That's 100 grams less, but I haven't really seen any S-Works frame that's going that low, so it's quite rare. The lightest I've seen measured is 610, so that's not a big difference. Or, well, depending how you look at it, because it's still more than 10% of the total frame weight. Anyway, despite being touted as a non-UCI bike, well, it is completely UCI proof because, well, it has no features that would make it otherwise. Yeah, it's, well, the only word that comes into my mouth again is standard, but that's just the way it is. What I really love about this finish is the raw carbon here on the head tube area. It reminds me of Tsubasa custom-made frames, Japanese brand I think, and very similar finish, very thin paint. You can see basically the carbon weave throughout the whole bike. It's pretty damn stunning and I love it. So yeah, it's a thing of beauty really, and it rides like one too. So why did I go for a climbing bike? Honestly, basically since I have this bike that is late November, and this is the time of year when I'm just training, not super high intensity, not super high volume, no races of course until May, pretty much May, June. So that's a big window of time when it doesn't matter how fast I'm going, so I don't need an aero bike. And hopefully by that time, when the races come around, my SL7 will be finally ready. So yeah, until then I have a bike that looks just plain badass and rides very nicely. Having said that, this bike is designed specifically so it rides very nicely, and it certainly does. It's extremely nimble, very responsive due to the low weight also, and it's supremely comfortable. It's not a endurance bike squishy type of comfort, but it certainly does away with the shadow very well, and also in the descents when you got rough roads, stretches of rough road, it has super grip. So yeah, the ride is spot on, no problems so far. And because everything is standard, you can customize it to your heart's content. And in this configuration, it's not particularly light. Either it's 6.9 kilos, 7 with the Wahoo ROM head unit, but as I said, it looks amazing, so I like it. Doesn't really matter how fast it goes or how light it is. It's fun to ride, and that's exactly the point of this bike, really. It's designed for non-racers, or racers in a non-racing period for that matter. Of course, I could make it a lot lighter, and I will, just a hint. But let's go through the components now. So most of the stuff that I already had was carried over. Let's talk about the big chunks first. So I already talked a lot about the frame. Then we have the group set, which is my Dura-Ace Di2 throughout, except the cranks. I have a KH chain catcher on the front here, just for chain security. The cranks, this is a Quark dub crank arm with the D4 unit on there, spider-based power meter of course, and then we have a pair of absolute black chain rings which I got for testing. I already talked about these, earlier. Then on the rear I have the race rear mag, the ceramic speed oversized pulley wheel system, also carried over from previous builds. We have direct mount specialized hanger, which is a very nice detail that I really like. Then we have the race cassette. I also have some SRAM Red 22 cassettes, which are considerably lighter and nicer, but those will be kept for the more special wheels. And what else regarding the drivetrain? Yeah, we have a Chris King threaded bottom bracket with ceramics bearings in there, which is a nice little touch, although because the frame is so skinny here, the cups are big, so yeah, it would look nicer if these had a smaller diameter, but on the tarmac this will look great. Then we have a Cane Creek aluminum preload adjuster on the cranks, another nice touch. Pedals, well, I had the Speedplay Aero titanium pedals on these cranks before, but since nothing is aero on this bike, I wanted to be classic, so I dug up my Pave titaniums, and these look really badass on there. So I just installed these, and yeah, the spindles here are titanium, as I said, but I have a couple more titanium parts coming for it. That will be a separate episode, but also some really cool stuff. Then that's the drivetrain covered, mostly. As you can see, I've used the bar end plug from Shimano, but I didn't use the hideous clamp that goes on the bar to keep the junction box, so I did a little trick, so it's kept in the bar. Without that, that means I have no ugly bulk here at the beginning of the bar tape. Looks much more standard. Up front I have an MV compact handlebar, which is 38 centimeters wide. That's the smallest size they make. Before this I had an MV Ethos aero handlebar in there, but it just didn't look right, so I wanted to go back to around the bar. That's why I have this one. The good thing about this is that it also has very nice and neat routing for Di2, so yeah, you can't see any cable barring the one that goes from the frame, which I have shrink wrapped through the brake hose, so very clean setup indeed. Yeah, I already talked about the tarmac stem. This will be a keeper, and it's also outfitted with a very neat barfly mount that comes with recent Specialized bikes. And then we have the bar tape, also from NV. This is the best bar tape in the business at the moment, at least in my experience. It's very supple, it can be wrapped very nicely, and it's durable as well, so very beautiful. This is the gray color. It also comes in black and white. White wouldn't really match, and black would be dull, so I opted for gray. I think it's a great match with the bike. Then we have this little top cap from my girlfriend. It doesn't fit any other bike that we have, so it went on here. Looks cool, nice little detail. Then we have the Carbon Works Superlight 8-gram cages, which look amazing, I think, on this bike. Very nice match again. I already mentioned the Alpinist seat post, so that's nice. The seat clamp, I've upgraded this with a little black titanium bolt, just a tiny touch. And on top of that we have the S-Works Power Mimic saddle, which I learned to love. I really like it. I wanted to have the mirror, but they've been so popular in the shop that didn't matter how many I ordered, they got sold immediately, so I didn't have the chance to test any. And then finally we have the wheels. Now I will give away a slight hint. These are just temporary wheels. I chose these, well, because they're nice and also because they're not too expensive, being temporary. So these are MV Foundation 45s with white Industries hubs. So yeah, setup tubeless, 1500 and something grams, nice and wide, everything you want in a modern wheel set, hookless rim, which is great if you're running tubeless. It's a bit of a limiting factor if you want to run different kinds of tires, but yeah, very nice indeed. And I've thrown in some Schwalbe Pro ones. This is the old model that I just had lying around, so not the nicest tires that we have available, but yeah, that's what it is for now. And the wheels will be changed because from January I'm hopping aboard with a new wheel sponsor, so stay tuned for that. This is the bike in its current form. Looks wise it will not change too much, and I was thinking about this a lot, what to do with it when the tarmac arrives, and I really love it, so I might just as well keep it, but we'll see about that. Maybe some of you will fall in love with it and will take it off me. But yeah, 6.9 kilos of specialized carbon fiber coolness. These Ethoses really have the cool factor, I think, of a custom bike, because yeah, the way they're finished, very classy all around, and the ride is up there too, is what you expect from Specialized anyway. So that's all about this bike for now. I hope you have found this useful and entertaining. If you want to know more about the equipment that I use or that I work on for my clients, then don't forget to tune into the channel later on and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.